I now have the pleasure of inviting Jan Olbrycht up to the podium. Jan will be familiar to many of you who've participated in urban events, especially in Brussels. He's a member of the European Parliament. He's very tall. He's... You see? He's the chairman or the president of the URBAN Intergroup. And I think he also sits on the Regional Policy Committee of the European Parliament and is closely involved in the negotiations around the future of the cohesion policy. But above all, Jan is a champion of the Leipzig Charter and of participative and integrated urban development. Jan Olbrycht.
Yes, thank you. I'm Polish. By the way, and thank you for the invitation. It's a big pleasure for me because I'm a sociologist by profession who changed the job and became the mayor of the city, of the small city, and I was elected twice the mayor of the city. At just the beginning of the new process of democratization in Poland, when we created the new structure. So I had experience of being the mayor of the small city, but also working as the vice president at that time of CMR and the Congress of Local and Regional Authorities. So I was the local politician. Next, I became the president of the region, so I became the regional politician, and I discovered how difficult it is to have the integrated approach, and I quote the Ivan Tosic, the dialogue between different kinds of public authorities, I mean regional and local, how difficult it is. I mean, in Committee of Regions you can find it very easily. And next I became the member of the Parliament, European Parliament, and with the mayor of Budapest at that time we decided to create a special network of the people who used to be the local politicians, the former mayors, presidents, councillors, etc. And we created the structure which is in the European Parliament called the Intergroup. Intergroup means that we have no money, but we can use the European Parliament facilities. And after some years, when we are functioning, in fact, I can say that we are a kind of platform. We are kind of platform because we have about more than 80 or 90 official partners from the whole Europe, and very often we organize the meetings which were quite impossible to organize by concrete partners. I mean, I remember that it was quite difficult to organize the meeting of the architects and the urbanists. But if we organize in the European Parliament, the urbanists and the architects, they come together and they discuss. I mean, now they call themselves, all of them, city planners, but I know how difficult it is to find the bridge between the two. It's like recently we had the demand from the UN Habitat to have the meeting on their new report on the cities in Europe, because they have a series of reports about different cities in different places, and now they are preparing the report on the new democracies, cities in the new democracies in Europe, and they ask us, the members of the Parliament, to organize the meeting with the European Commission. So the UN Habitat met the European Commission and also some of the association in the European Parliament, because we organize it. So this is the kind of the facilitator work we are doing in the Parliament. This is one element. Second, we are observing what is going on in European legislation concerning cities and urban dimensions. We are from different committees. I mean, regional committee and environment committee, in culture, education, etc. We are meeting together, and this is our additional job, we can say. But we can monitor everything which is going on, and trying to influence it. Some of us are rapporteurs. I'm the rapporteur for the ERDF. So I am sitting as a representative of the European Parliament with the European Commission and the Council of Ministers, now Lithuanians. And we have just finished working on the ERDF, all the very, very small details. And it was not by chance that we managed to introduce some of the urban elements in the new RDF much stronger than before. It's also true that the policy of the Commission has changed, and the Commission is much more interested in the urban urban dimensions, and I can say European Commission is much brave introducing the element of urban, which was not the case before. So why I'm invited here, I just wanted to show you some of the, because it was closing remarks. I was a little bit surprised because this is just the first day, so closing remarks mean that you have no hope for tomorrow. But anyway, and of course, you know, for the politicians, especially European national sector, the day without official speech is a day which is lost. But I have some summer holidays now, so yeah, I have to train and prepare for the next week because we have the problems with the financial perspective and the regulations. So I must tell you very unofficially, it's not over yet. We have still something to be solved on the European level, to have the MFF, to have the money, ERDF, ESF, etc., etc. But be prepared for some elements. But this is not the place to explain all the details. But be prepared for this, that much more money for ESF, much less money for ERDF. So this is one of the elements of the new perspective. But when we talk about urban issues, especially what is important for URBACT, I remember the last year, in Copenhagen, I think it was, a special atmosphere during the URBACT meeting, which was a little bit, the people a little bit, not, let's call it diplomatically, surprised or frightened a little bit. What was the future of URBACT? Will URBACT survive in the new perspective? Is it just one of the program which is the temporarily limited? Or is it, or do we have the example of something which exists, which is developing, which has the staff, which has a very, very good team, and which is the experience in the European work. And this was the important question: what is will URBACT survive? And secondly, what will be the role of URBACT in the future perspective? Because this is changing. We will have the new challenges, new elements. And I think the role of URBACT is also changing. And that's why I decided to share with you some of the elements. Why? Firstly, we will have much more urban elements in the European policy. Urban element means different elements which are at the same time should be much more integrated. You know, there is a danger that in Strategy 2020 there is a kind of separation of different elements, like the sustainability, which would separate it from innovation, etc. Smart, I mean, it's not only sustainable, which is the magic word, I mean, smart is another one. Smart is another one, and the subsidiarity is another one. I mean, we are repeating all the time during conferences, and we just use it on a very instrumental way, trying to support something or trying to stop something. And this is for me. We are discussing the problem of urban issues, etc., etc. But very, very clearly, the question appeared immediately: is the urban element, urban issues, is it the European competence or not? Or is it just a competence of the local authorities or maximum of the national authorities? And it was please, I can remind you, the debate inside the European Commission about the urban mobility. It was some years ago. It was during the Commission Barrot, and it was the effort to prepare the European urban mobility policy. It was criticized from the very beginning. It was criticized by especially regional authorities, by national authorities. Some cities were criticizing it as well, saying that don't touch cities. This is the local competence. Don't impose anything on the cities. This is true, because it was, and it still is, the tendency to impose on the cities the new regulations, the new norms, the new obligations, etc., etc. But we can see very clearly that if we don't take the urban issues as a European competence, we will not manage, because it's becoming more and more difficult, more and more complex. Recently, European Commission, that you have also the people from the European Commission here. European Commission prepared a report of 50 very, very interesting list of 50 examples of the projects. What was one of the conclusions very important for us politicians? the more the member states on the national level, the more clear and well-defined urban policy they have, it's better for the cities. It means the cities, they will not manage themselves. It's not possible anymore. The problems are much broader in terms of influence, interdependence, etc. It's not by chance that we are discussing on not only administrative elements, it's also the case during your talks, but also the problem of the influence, interdependence of different actors. So we will not manage without touching urban issues. It's not by chance the European Commission started to prepare the report about the cities of tomorrow. I mean, the European point of view, or European policy concerning cities. But we are in a very difficult situation in some of the sensible elements. Very often when you read in the European documents, cities act, cities react, cities organize. In fact, we are speaking about the city authorities and not about people. And this is, it's like we concentrate on one of the elements. We are concentrate on governance. And we from time to time, or very often, we forget that the cities is much more complex. This is not only the cooperation with the city authorities, it's the cooperation with different actors together. It's not by chance when you observe the activities of UN Habitat. I remember the conference in Rio, and the main slogan was "Right to the City." I mean, all the citizens, they have their right to the city. And this is the method which will be implemented and which will be implemented in the European Union, and European money can be used for this. It's not by chance the urban mobility was blocked one day. It was blocked using the terminology of subsidiarity. I mean, subsidiarity doesn't allow to touch urban issues. Fortunately, it's changed. Now we have much more urban issues. It's not by chance that we have now a very famous integrated territorial investments, a very famous ITIs. This is the effort of the European Commission and we support it in the Parliament. In fact, very often we propose some of the elements of this, to introduce the element of cooperation between the city authorities and between the neighbors, to overpass the borders, to overpass the bad experience in Europe of the competition between the cities. I must tell, as a former mayor, that we exaggerated, we overpassed the special limit. We think about cities very often, I mean, the city authorities, they think about themselves like a manager of the company. And they don't think themselves that they are efficient if they are accepted by the citizens, which is half of its success. And they are not just managers of the company. So the efficiency is not a question of profit. The competitiveness between the cities is not just the very pure city marketing. This is a very simplistic way. The question is how to create the partnership, cooperation between the cities. Not only the competition between them. Because I know what is in your countries, in my countries, very often the two small cities, two mayors, they compete, and each of them has exactly the same infrastructure, exactly the same things, because he is better than the others. It should be stopped. Of course, we cannot stop it by imposing anything, but we can use European instruments like European money to support cooperation, because cooperation means also reduce the cost. It means reduce the effort. So we cannot think about cities like about the company, even if we work with the partners, economic partners, but it's not the same. Unfortunately, in Europe, we have several negative examples of the competition between the cities. They destroy each other. But this is but when we discuss the problem of cities, And when we discuss on a European level, and when we touch the problem of governance, we have to be aware that we have different traditions in organizing the management of the cities. Different traditions in urban policy in the countries. There are some countries in Europe which have a very long tradition of urban policy, and there are some countries that have no urban policy at all. And this is just the leaving to the cities, you can do whatever you want, and at the end we will call it urban policy. It will be just that's the conclusion. It's no way. We should have now the urban policy, but there are different traditions of the giving the competence for the cities. It's like in the UK there is different tradition, in France is different tradition, in countries in European Union is different traditions. We have to take it into account. But in this tradition, how we treat the competence of the cities, we should be aware that there are differences between the competences of the city authorities, I mean local politicians, and the professionals, the people working in the cities. That's why URBACT is important. Because URBACT is not the network not only the work of the local politicians. I was in one of the master classes, and local politicians are very, very few. But the local politicians, they should allow the professionals to come here. They should pay for it. So they should be aware that this is important. But this is the question how to overpass the limit that they are local politicians. I mean, my colleagues, me also, they don't like to call themselves local politicians. They are just very important people. No, they are local politicians. And they should be absolutely aware that they need a good, well-prepared staff who has the contacts and networking around Europe, who participate in such a network like URBACT. Because if not, there will be no professional knowledge. And the exchange of experience will become the exchange of PowerPoint presentations. And from time to time, you have this experience, hundreds, 200 of PowerPoint presentations, nothing, just the promotion. This is just exchange of promotion methods. Everybody is presenting what he achieved. What about the exchange of failures? What about the exchange of real experience? A real serious talk of the people who are doing it. The politicians are responsible to introduce it, but the people who are doing it in the cities, they have to talk to each other and say, listen, it doesn't work. It will not work. It's completely failure. So I think that's why we need a structure which is a clear and important exchange of experience, exchange of practices, good practices and bad practices. But with whom you share the bad practice? Bad practice you cannot share with your enemy. Bad practice you can share with the people you trust. You trust that they will not use it against you. So that's why this kind of meeting you have, and I can discover during the talk, is just meet the people, work with them, learn with them, trust them, and of course share with them the successes, and trying to understand their way of thinking. How can I not transfer directly the experience? How can I adopt you achieved? So that's why you need the support of politicians. This is our job. I mean, we politicians in Europe, we have to do everything to explain to the politicians that this is important, worth doing, and good investments in terms of money. Because you know very well that for the politician, if there is a problem, the first cut is on this kind of activity, because it's not very visible. But the knowledge is the investment. So I can promise you, and this is a very typical declaration of a politician, I will do it before my election, but anyway, we had with URBACT a very difficult and very tough debate about the future. I discouraged URBACT to enter in some of the activities of the Commission. And it was not very well seen at the beginning, but I'm still very sure that URBACT should be good, independent instrument, supported by the European money, but independent, creating the network. But the network between the cities, shared experience, among the cities, among the people from the cities, representing the people in the cities who want to share, who are not just the clients. So I would like to wish you a very good success here and tomorrow, and the new perspective. And I must tell you that every time we have the chance to speak about the new perspective, and then me as a rapporteur of ERDF, I'm doing it very often, I'm saying that this kind of program is just very important, but it cannot work itself. It should be supported by the politicians, and we will try to do our best. Have a good luck. Thank you.